Welcome to the celebrations of Up Helly Aa. You may not realise it, but a very exciting celebration is coming up soon here in Scotland. And it's a celebration that celebrates our Viking heritage. If you think all the way back to the Viking times, some Vikings did not just raid and pilfer and steal. Some of them settled. Some of them decided to stay in Scotland, and that is why we still, to this day, celebrate some Viking traditions. And Up Helly Aa is one of those Viking traditions that is coming up next Tuesday. So let's find out what it's all about and why we should all be excited. So today we're going to find out the reasons behind the Up Helly Aa festival. We're going to find out where it takes place. We're going to be able to describe the main events of Up Helly Aa, and we're going to make it links back to our Viking history. So let's start with the obvious. What is Up Helly Aa? Well, since the 1880s, so that's over 100 years ago, the Up Helly Aa festival has been held once a year, and that time is coming up soon. So what do you see happening in this picture? Gives you an idea of what Up Helly Aa is all about. What I see is fire. I see people dressed up. I see parades. I see everyone joining in. Looks like a lot of fun. So Up Helly Aa is a festival celebrated in the Shetland Islands. Now, I've put a little map here. The Shetland Islands are right up here. So this is Scotland, okay? We are on the east coast. We're around here. Edinburgh's around here. And the Shetland Islands are all the way up north, and there they are hanging about in the middle of the North Sea. And you can understand why they have more Viking heritage and why they have more Viking celebrations and traditions that we might do, because look what they're very close to. They're very close to Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, Scandinavia. They are very close to where the Vikings came from. So you can imagine you being a little Viking in your longship. You get on your longship, you get ready for a raid, you cross the North Sea, and the first place you arrive to is, of course, the Shetland Islands. And remember, you're not always stealing and pilfering. Sometimes you're settling. You're settling in this island, you're making a life for yourself. So these Shetlanders will have a lot of Viking heritage. It is a celebration of Shetland's history, okay, and its Viking heritage, which heritage means where you come from, what your ancestors were. It is held once a year on the last Tuesday of January, so that's next Tuesday coming up, and it marks the end of the Yule season. So I don't know if you remember, but we were talking about Yule being a Viking word, and it basically means the Christmas season, so celebrating the end of the Christmas season. Preparations take place all year round. As soon as one Up Helly Aa ends, Shetlanders begin preparing for the following one. And the actual word Up Helly Aa all means separate things. So the part up comes from the old Norse word, the old Viking word uppi, which means time's up. This shows that the Yule season is over. This Christmas season is over. It's at the end. So time's up for Christmas time. Helly means holiday or festival, so schools get a day off for Up Helly Aa. So in the Shetland Islands next Tuesday, they'll all get a day off because they're celebrating Up Helly Aa. Okay, and Aa means all, which shows that everyone takes part. So up meaning the end of the holiday, the ending of the Yule time. Helly, which means it's a holiday to celebrate, and Aa means everyone's getting involved. The Jarl Squad or the Jarl Squad. I'm afraid I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So the Jarl Squad are the main groups of Vikings on the day of Up Helly Aa. There is one Viking called Geyser Jarl, and he is the leader of the Jarl Squad. So Geyser Jarl is the head of everything. This is a very important job. The Geyser Jarl is in charge of the island for 7 days. So he's in charge of the whole of Shetland Islands for 7 whole days leading up to Helly Aa. Up Helly Aa. That must be very exciting. I'd love that job. You get to boss everyone around, I imagine. 45 squads of Vikings take part in Up Helly Aa. So you have all these groups of people dressing up as Vikings in the Shetland Islands during this festival. And the Jarl Squad is the most important squad of them all. It's the most important team. The Jarl Squad has between 50 and 70 men in it. So what do the Jarl squad wear? How do we know they are the most important Vikings in the Helly Aa festival? Well, the outfits worn by the squads of Helly Aa are really important. The Jarl Geyser and his Jarl squad design and make their own suits. They design these suits to change every year. Each squad also carries a shield. The Jarl squad even make their own weapons. These could be axes, swords, spears, bows, or daggers. It is easy to see why Helly Aa preparations need to start a year in advance. And the following slides show how detailed these suits and shields and weapons are. Oh my goodness, look at that. They've created their own longboats. Okay, they've created their own helmets, their own shields, their own armor, their own cloaks. That must have taken absolutely ages. And look, they don't have horns on their head, because we know Vikings didn't really have horns on their head. Instead, they have these crazy decorations, which must have made them look very scary in battle. So you can imagine, if you were a Shetlander, if you lived in the Shetland Islands right now, you would be preparing for this celebration. You would be getting ready your armor, getting ready your weapons, and getting ready your longboats. Absolutely amazing. Look at the detail of this. This is a photo that has been taken very recently. So they all get dressed up because they're getting ready for the torches and the procession. So over 1,000 torches are used during Helly Aa. So a torch is a stick sort of set on fire. This is a torch. They are made from Hessian sacks soaked in fuel. So they're made from cloth that's soaked in something that will set fire very easily. The people who walk in the procession each hold one of these torches, kind of like the torchlight procession we have at Christmas time. Helly Aa is one of the most famous torchlight processions in the world. A galley, which you will learn more about next, leads the procession through the town. All 45 Viking squads follow behind, each holding their own torch. Locals line the streets to watch this. There can be up to 5,000 people watching the procession. So let's bear in mind that there's around 400 people in Craiglockhart Primary School, so 5,000 is a lot more than that. All of the street lights are switched off so that torches burn even brighter. So you can imagine why this picture makes a lot more sense now. If you can imagine thousands of people walking through the streets of the Shetlands, all the street lights are turned off and people are dressed up in armour. They're dressed up with their weapons that they've made all years and they are carrying these torches. Must be quite a sight to behold. Another important part of Helly Aa involves the galley. A replica galley, so galley is like a sort of longboat. A replica galley, which is a Viking longship, is built for Helly Aa each year. It is paraded through the streets so that everyone can see it. And you can imagine why. If they've spent such a long time making this galley, then they want to show it off. It sits on a pier in Lerwick, which is a town. It's the most important town in the Shetlands, for the whole day, so that people can take their time to admire it and appreciate all the work that has gone into making it. And then what do? To end the procession, that big boat that they've spent so long building, they're going to set it on fire. The end of the procession. In the end of the procession, everyone forms a circle around the galley or the longship and they throw their burning torches to set it on fire. So all those torches everyone was carrying, they throw it into the boat and they set the boat on fire. It might seem a little bit wasteful that the galley is set on fire, but there is a historical reason for it. After the galley has been set alight, the Geyser Jarl, so the main squad, the main team of Vikings at this festival, they take, and everyone else takes part in all-night celebrations throughout Lerwick. They have a good old party with dancing and food and chatting to friends. And these celebrations often go on to 8 o'clock the next morning. That's when we'd be starting school again. So no wonder everyone needs a day off of work and of school. So basically, to sum up, you have this festival that happens in the Shetland Islands, that have such Viking ancestors. They set up for a whole year. They make up their own boats, their own weapons, their own armors, And then on the day of Helly Aa, the last day of Christmas, the last day they celebrate of Christmas, they walk around the town with their big fire torches all the way to the massive longboat they've made all year, and they set fire to that longboat. They then dance and party and eat and drink all night long. Sounds absolutely fantastic. So you're going to make your own facts file of Helly Aa, and these are the type of questions you should be asking yourself. Who is it that celebrates Helly Aa? The people of the Shetlands, remember, from Viking heritage. Where is it celebrated? Up in the Shetland Islands of Scotland. How is it celebrated? So what is it that they do? Do they dress up? What do they make? What type of clothes do they wear? Why do they parade down the town? What are they holding as they parade down the town? What are they going to set fire to at the end of the parade? And how often is it celebrated? So when do they celebrate it and how often? And how long or how do people involved prepare for it? These are questions that you might want to answer to fill in your fact file about Helly Aa.